Hello,
Hello.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you,
Uh,
ma'am.
you can hear me. Let me
Yes, ma'am.
come in the laptop also so that I can present my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
This is the link I think last time you have sent me.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we'll start, ma'am. We are streaming live, ma'am.
You are streaming live. 1 minute.
Yes.
Let me just go inside.
Live streaming is on.
Now,
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear us, ma'am? Ma'am, you mute yourself, I think.
I didn't mute myself.
Yes, ma'am. Now I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. I think in two places I have. I'm hearing echo.
Yes, ma'am. In your laptop, just mute yourself, ma'am.
Yeah, I have muted, but still I'm hearing echo. Will the participants too hear an echo? Hello? Ronald? Ronald, can you hear me?
Hear you, ma'am. I can hear you, ma'am.
And then I will go from the
Ma'am,
laptop
now.
itself.
Yes, ma'am. Now I'll start the intro, ma'am. You start the session, ma'am. So, good afternoon,
Oh,
everyone. First of all, we apologize for all the technical difficulties. Ma'am will be starting right now. So, before that, we'll just introduce our resource person. So, we are delighted to have a wonderful eminent scholar with us today, Miss Kavya Dikshit. She is currently working as an assistant professor in Kogunar Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. She has over 5 years of teaching experience. Her area of specialization are comparative literature, theory, and modern criticism, South Asian fiction, children's literature, and translation. She has conducted various department activities from being an editor to the college magazine to being a member of the board of studies during the autonomous transition. She has also given a special lecture on war literature in Sri Krishna Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. Her book publication include Emotional Aching, Musings on Multiple Identities of the Nepali Fraternity, and has published many articles in journals. She has also presented many papers in international and national level conference. To name a few, she has participated and presented many such papers, and one of them is Themes in Contemporary Bangladeshi Fiction. So, without further ado, we are delighted to welcome Ms. Kavya Dikshit for this webinar on contemporary South Asian fiction. Thank you, ma'am. You may start the session. Ma'am, you can start the session, ma'am.
Ronald?
Ma'am, you can start the session, ma'am.
Ronald, is it audible?
Yes, ma'am, it's audible, ma'am.
Okay, no echoes, right?
Ma'am, there is an echo, ma'am.
Yeah. If I mute on my mobile, it's not coming. But I have muted in my laptop.
Yes, ma'am.
Now is it coming, Ronald? Hello, now is it?
Now it's fine, ma'am. Now it's
Hello?
fine, ma'am. Hello,
Oh,
ma'am.
is it
It's fine,
fine?
ma'am. Now. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am. You can continue. You can
Everything?
continue. Yes, ma'am. Now it's
Okay.
fine, ma'am. Now it's fine.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So I'm sorry for this delay and for the technical issue. Hope you are hearing me uh, without without any problem, without any struggle, without any echoes, and you are hearing me audibly. Okay. So when Ronald has introduced me, myself, Kavya Dikshit from Konganad Arts and Science College, Department of English. I have this fascination to speak about South Asian fiction for a very, very long time. So let me thank Ronald for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words on South Asian fiction. So before starting, I have to tell you the South Asian fiction is one part in the whole of Asian fiction and Asian literature. We, as literature students, usually we study. Just a second, I'm hearing so much of an echo.
Ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am. Ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Still not audible, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear, ma'am? Ma'am? Hello, ma'am. Can you talk through the mobile, ma'am?
சவுண்ட் லைவ்ல வர மாட்டேங்குது மேம். நீங்க பேசுறது போன்ல கேக்குது. ஐ கேன் ஹியர் phone.
I'll do one thing. I'll send the PPT to you. Can you access from your end?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, now audible, ma'am.
Now it is audible, but there is lot of echo here.
Ma'am, cut the phone, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. I think you can hear us, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear you.
Now we can hear you, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am.
Yeah, I can continue, but the problem is I can hear you again and again what I'm speaking.
Okay, ma'am.
So what can we do? I have also muted it here. Am I?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Hello, ma'am.
is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I think the problem is there when two electronic devices are together.
Yes, ma'am.
Now I think it is okay.
Yes, ma'am. Now you can talk, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just keep it very much different. Okay. So actually I started thinking on uh, why I have chosen South Asian fiction, even though I'm hearing it. Is it okay if I'm not visible to you? Hello?
Hello, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay if I'm not visible to you?
And not an issue at all, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, then. So now, if I'm not visible to you, my echo is very much less. I can
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
properly.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, good evening again, one and all. So, I'm extremely sorry again for this disruption. I'm sorry I will not be visible because if I'm visible so much of an echo, I'm able to hear. So, please bear with this inconvenience. I hope my PPT is visible to you. So I have taken South Asian fiction because so much of an ethnicity is there in it, so much of important things are there to know about. It is a new research area. It can be made into an emerging research area where you can concentrate on excellent issues of relationships, family. You can apply various theories. More importantly, you can hear about and learn about the cultures of the neighboring countries that is there in and around India. So that is the main reason I have taken to speak about South Asian fiction in English specifically. Other than canonical British, American, and Indian fiction, I wanted to speak about so many other literatures from various different countries that are widely available but are excluded from the academia. I would say it is fully excluded, but not much concentration is being given to these literatures. These literatures are also very much rich, like British English literature, American literature, Indian English literature, and they are very much rich in exposing the experiences of a newly bringing up countries. That is why I wanted to speak about the South Asian literature specifically. Now, I have taken, uh, first I have taken Burma, that is Myanmar. From right, we will go to left. I have excluded the canonical Indian English writing from this scenario because we all know more about it. Instead of it, I have taken Northeastern literature of India, specifically written in English. Okay? Because the reason for me taking Northeastern English literature from India is it is having a South Asian panorama. That is why I have chosen it. Now we will move from Burma. So you all know this woman, a very great lady, iconic figure from Burma. She is on San Suu Kyi. My plan of speaking is that I will be just introducing. I'm not going to go anything deep inside this novel text. I just wanted people to know these many new variety of texts with varied themes are there. And one more important thing I wanted to tell is when you say South Asian fiction, you are able to bring that under a bring that under a club, an umbrella term you can use it for. So, even if you take Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, anywhere, you can connect everything and you can bring it in under one umbrella. So that is why it is very much interesting and they also share a very, very equal line of problems and troubles like starting from the imperialism, starting from the colonial rule, and after the independence of those countries, how difficult for these countries to emerge along with the global superpowers, to emerge along the developing countries, and how the developed countries exert power on these little nations that are struggling with so many civil wars, interreligious conflicts, and ethnic conflicts, very much importantly. So we people of India are far more better in developing. When we read these literature from the other countries of South Asia, we feel we are very blessed to live in this land without any kind of a trouble. So one fine thread you will find in all these novels are war. One fine thread that you will find in all these novels are suffering to build their identity based on their ethnicity. That is one thing we will find in every novel of each and every country from South Asia. So here we go. First author is Aung San Suu Kyi. On your left, you have a book, Freedom from Hitler. It is a collection of prose. We all know Aung San Suu Kyi is being put in court prison for 6 years. She has been a political leader of Burma and for the liberation of Burma. Now they call it as Myanmar. Earlier it is Burma. Like India, Burma was also under the clutches of British rule, and they have also suffered a lot due to this. So Aung San Suu Kyi is a famous freedom fighter and a political leader. She has been put into house arrest for more than 6 years. Like how we have Aryan Sharmila in the northeast, we have Aung San Suu Kyi in Burma. She has written about the freedom, why the liberation, the Burmese war of liberation. She has written about the problems they have faced, about the experiences, particularly all the women authors. It is not that there are only women authors or only male authors from these countries. There are equal number of male and female authors from these countries. But female authors somehow they come into the forefront because they speak about the pain, sufferings of women who are at the backdrop of the war. If a country goes into the war, of course we have sung and unsung male heroes and then political leaders we have. But women are from the backdrop. They fight unseen troubles from the military, emotionally, physically. They, especially women and children, they face so many troubles. And being a women author, most of the women authors do concentrate on these struggles that these women and children in particular they face. So freedom from fear, the winner of Nobel Peace Prize, is a collection of essays where our Aung San Suu Kyi speaks about her experiences of being on house arrest, how troublesome it is to establish their identity and make Myanmar free. And it speaks about corruption, torture, and so many other things she speaks about in this essay. So, this one book is Aung San Suu Kyi's writings on Myanmar, on the troubles that Burma faces. On your left, you will see Perfect Forces. It is by Justin Wintle, a British scholar who has written on Aung San Suu Kyi. Okay. He has written the life and experiences of Aung San Suu Kyi, how she has started this Burmese liberation war, and how she has gone to be a hostage in the hands of their own people, her own people. Her own people has hostage her. So that book is on, the Perfect Hostage is on the life of Aung San Suu Kyi and the troubles she faced due to the liberation war in Myanmar. Is it okay?
Ma'am, now it's fine, ma'am. Now it's fine, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, continue, ma'am.
So now we will move on to the next novel, From the Land of Green Goats. Okay, guys. Haskell you. It is about young boy's journey from a tribal village to England. These authors do concentrate on one thing, three things they concentrate on. I'll tell you one by one. Three things they concentrate on is on one is about the law, about the liberation that they have been aspiring for. Another is the ethnic identity and the cultural identity they wanted to hold on to. They don't want to change. They just wanted to hold on to their own.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, we are not able to hear any of your voice, ma'am. Ma'am, I think there's some loose connection or something, ma'am.
I'm speaking from my mobile only.
Yeah, yes,
Is it
ma'am.
so?
Now we can hear you.
So then what is the problem I don't? So why did you stop hearing me?
Ma'am, I think keep your mobile near you and talk, ma'am. It's echoing a lot.
Okay, I am keeping it. So I think you have stopped hearing me with the from the land of green source. Yes. Okay, let me start with this. So from the land of green source, it is about a boy, a tribal boy, who finds it very much difficult to give himself go to England and establish himself as a proper citizen. So the identity crisis is always there, and he sees that the rape of his girlfriend and the brutality of military on his own land. And it is a transition. Burma is in the period of transition. And hello, is it audible? Okay.
Ma'am, now it's not audible, ma'am. I think. Hello, ma'am.
What happened?
Ma'am, with the same posture, I think it's okay, ma'am.
Okay.
But if you move back, the voice is completely echoing,
Now it
ma'am.
is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay then okay. So this is an identity crisis from a military ruled very dark side of a nation to becoming a holistic citizen within their minds and to catch hold with the currents of nations. Now are you hearing echo, Ronald?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I don't know why. Maybe now it is less.
Now it's less, ma'am.
Okay, now it is less. Okay. So we will move on to The Mistake by a well-known author called George Orwell. George Orwell we all know as British writer, but he has served as an officer in colonial Burma with his English regiment. But he has told the severities of colonial rhyme when he was staying in Burma. He could see how troublesome this colonialism is, how bad this colonialism is. So he is the person to speak from the point of native, that is, from the point of Burmese. He spoke about the negatives of colonialism and imperialism in his novel The Burmese Case. That is why he became very, very famous. And then we have this Road to Rangoon, which is about the history, how war is manipulated, okay, how common people suffer due to war. And this Lucy, she has written many more novels also. She has written more than 4-5 novels. This everything together can be combined even for a research project. And every single thing speaks about history, war, and then religion, and then how the common people suffer at the hands of the upper class people, at the hands of the colonial people, in the hands of the transition period. All her novels speak about that. With this, we move on to Bangladesh. Bangladesh is also in the same condition. They are also having war, that is the liberation war. They want to get liberated from, we know, East Pakistan, West Pakistan problem. They also wanted to get liberated from the clutches of India and from Pakistan. So we have quite a number of literature here. And one more thing about Bangladesh is it is mostly influenced by the Bengali literature that is there. Very nearby we have West Bengal, and it is mostly influenced by Bengali literature. And we have authors from Bangladesh who write in English. One problem, particularly, that all these authors from these countries face is they are very, very new towards expressing in English. They can very well express in their own native language, but it is very difficult for them to express in English because only by 1970s, those people, many of those people have started learning English. English medium schools came and children started learning English, and it is not that the case of India where children are very much given to very fine English, teachings of fine English. No, they were struggling a lot to learn proper English first. Only then it is a question of writing and expressing in English. And publication for them is also a very great problem because of the civil war and the very, very hostile conditions that is happening in all these nations. In the books that I have given to you, that I am speaking about you, many of these books are published illegally, published without the knowledge of government because of the very rigid censorship of their government. So this we are going to Takimiya Anna. She is one of the finest authors from Bangladesh, next to Zaya Haider Rahman and Monica Ali. We all are aware of Monica Ali's Bricklane because it has been shortlisted for Man Booker Prize, and it has been became famous because of that. And more than Monica Ali, we have so many authors from Bangladesh who write in English, who translate from Bangladesh also. So one of these authors is Takimiya Anand. This is a trilogy. This is called as Bengali trilogy, A Golden Age, Bone of Grace, and Good Muslim. A film adaptation of one of these novels is also available. You can go and see. This speaks about first the bones of grace. Speaks about how a native Bengali family is shattered between two worlds, with Bangladesh and Bengal. Their identity, because they want to take Bangladesh as their motherland because of immigration and because of exile. And I also want to tell you one thing. Most of the authors that I have put here are authors in exile. Okay. So they are living in Bangladesh due to various other reasons. They migrate to various different European continents and America for studying, for working, just to escape from all these turmoils of their land, war and things. So, but Like how all the diasporic fiction, all the diasporic people will have a consciousness towards their motherland. These characters also have consciousness to their motherland. They have extreme love for their motherland. They somehow wanted to have peace in their motherland, but the peace always feels distant. Even though these books are written into early 2000 and 2010, something like that, even after 5 years, 10 years, all these feels to them as relevant. That is what these authors tell repeatedly in their interviews. Even though he had written these books a decade ago, even now the conditions seems as fresh. So we don't move anything forward, any much forward. Look, the problem is that when they write a historical fiction, they cannot move. We may even think, why are they always writing about this war? Why are they always writing about this rule, militancy, identity, so many things? Because they are fighting for that for decades and decades. More than 6 decades they are fighting for that. We have developed a sense of nationalism when British Raj was with us. Now we need not to fight for our identity. But these people have to fight. The fighting for their identity is like fighting for their living. So much of trouble they face. So these three novels, the trilogy, it speaks about history of nationalism and identity. How when Bangladesh gained its independence, that is what these three novels speak. And she has also written few more novels which are very much available in net. And all these novels are very much available for buying from various e-sources. The only thing is we will not find much sources or summary or anything to this novel, very less. But the book as such will be available, so we can buy it and read it to know more about how our neighboring country is suffering. One thing is that it is okay if our country is suffering at the clutches of other countries. But the problem with these people is their country in itself is shattered into two, and they are suffering with rightist and leftist parties. That is the problem. One party says it is okay to be dependent on another country, and one party says no, we want liberation. We want Bangladesh for our own. And so much of years, even English is not even introduced in Bangladesh. Only in later years, in particularly in Bhutan and Bangladesh, English is a very, very recent scenario. So these books that are coming out of these shattered nations is and tone of development. That is what I should tell. So we have to read all these things to know more further about their problems. We know this author, Monica Lee, in so many universities. She is being prescribed and she is being shortlisted for Man Reserve Prize. This is about, she has been settled in Britain. This is about how the British people see an expatriate, the experiences of an expatriate in Britain. So British people don't even see why they should ask for separate Bangladesh. They don't even care that it is a separate culture. They don't even care it is an identity they are seeking for their identity. Okay. For Britishers, the entire of Asia is same. It is a land of myths and fake travelers. But they don't understand each and every part of Asia is unique in its own. They just club it as one. So this Brick Lane by Monica Ali speaks about how the diasporic, how the immigrants face so many problems in Britain. We all know that. So you have two more very great authors. One is Zaya Hajar Rahman and Zahia Omar. Especially this Zahia Omar is a social activist, and this Like a Diamond in the Sky is a debut novel which deals about drug abuse. Here we come across yet another theme that the entire South Asian panorama shares, that is alcoholism and drug abuse. It is very much prevalent in the entire of the South Asian countries, and each and every author from South Asia also concentrates alcoholism. We shouldn't think what is their big deal about alcoholism. Even our own country is facing all this. No. But in their land, when you have underground people who are branded as anti-national by the government, they go for this alcoholism, they go into this drug abuse. What they are afraid of is the common people are afraid of this underground people because they are afraid that they will go inside alcoholism and they will leave the national cause. And so much of the money, national money, is being wasted. So much of the common people's money is being wasted for the cause. It is not a simple issue. If a civil war is going on in a state, many people lose their economy. You cannot go out and come as freely as we do in a very, very peaceful country. We know we are now in Corona days and how difficult it is for us to move and return back, how difficult the economy is. So even the pandemic can make us this much late. Just imagine the man-made problem, the war. We don't even know how far it will last. We don't even know that whether it is going in a proper side or not. We will not know whether we will win or lose also. So in that kind of a mental setup, all the energies from the common people are drained. They are investing so much of a time and money for a national cause without knowing whether they are chasing a winning battle or a losing battle. So that kind of a mindset. Slowly, when their priorities are not happening, they get depressed. They change to anti-social elements. They leave out the national cause, and the entire scenario changes. They have been branded as terrorists in the case of Pakistan or Afghanistan. They have been branded as Maoists in the case of Jharkhand in India. They have been branded as underground criminals in the case of Northeast. So this is what they get for the turn of asking for their ethnic and cultural identity. This is the gift they get for wanting to preserve their culture and identity in the face of modernism. So it is there. Now, we are coming to Bhutan. Bhutan is a very, very small country, the kind of sandwich between mighty China and India, and most of the part is being occupied by China, and few parts are taken by India. They have so much of a problem, and they have the neighboring country, Nepal. We have to note down Bhutan, as it has emerged after 1960s, it used only Nepali as a common language. If you want to know about Bhutan, if you learn about Nepal, you can learn much about Bhutan. When Britishers left India, these Nepalis and Bhutans were constantly in struggle with each other. Where during migration in refugee camps, Bhutan has liberated itself, and then many refugees from Nepal have landed in Bhutan. So it is a problem of refugees. They don't even they don't have a proper citizenship like how we have in India. They don't have proper separation between them, and because of this issue, the issue of refugees is very, very prominent in Bhutan. And in an interview, one of the authors from Bhutan has told, see, if you want to become easily poor, you can become an author and publish in Bhutan. That is what he has told. That's much difficult as publishing in Bhutan. That too, particularly publishing in English is very much difficult. But that we have few authors from Bhutan. We have only very few authors who are writing in English. There they speak about one thing is folklore, and another thing is their rich culture that is imbibed with Buddhism. We have Jataka tales. In Buddhist folk tales, we have Jataka tales. Bhutanese novels concentrate on that. Bhutanese novels concentrate more of a immigratory issues. They don't have war there. That is not a problem there. They have a very, very clear motive. Say, Druj. Druj they have been under monarchy for many years. Because see, we authors are writing just to be vocal about our culture. We are writing just to preserve our culture. This is their motive. They are very much clear about it. They don't speak about the problems the country is facing. Of course, the country is facing many problems, but they don't speak as a Pakistani or Nepali or Bangladeshi fiction as they are speaking about the national identity. These people, they don't speak much about the national identity in the novel Escapades or Home Chandrila. They focus on in whichever way they can portray their culture and keep it in it and take it to the forthcoming generations to come. This is what they are concentrating on, and they are very much vocal about this. And this novel is a very, very important novel, Treasures of a Thunder Dragon. Why it is important is that it is written by the Queen of Bhutan, Wangamu Wangchuk. Ashi Droji Wangamu Wangchuk. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing these names properly or not. If I'm wrongly pronouncing, please do apologize me. So it is a novel that is written in 2018 by the Queen herself. It is a kind of a travelogue. The Queen has traveled in far and for various places she herself has traveled. It is more a kind of a travelogue. She has seen how people are living, what are all the problems that people are facing, and she has written a kind of a travelogue in the book that is Treasures of a Thunder Dragon. And you have another book by Kung Zan Chuden. It is Circle of Karma. It is a collection of short stories, and it is also a very first novel by women from Bhutan. It is the Treasures of Thunder Dragon comes later. The Circle of Karma comes first. It is the first woman novelist. It is a novel written by the woman, first novel written by the woman from Bhutan. So it showcases the problems of a woman who is caught up in an everyday household. It speaks about that. So with this, we are moving to Nepal. We have with us Manjushri Thapa, very, very eminent personality. Here how we have Anita Desai and Arundhati Roy. That much famous is Manjushri Thapa. She is basically a historian. She is also a translator and editor. She has written more than 6 novels. Every single novel speaks about the problems and troubles that Nepal faces. The landscape of Nepal, she speaks about. She has written more than 5 novels. She has compiled an anthology of Nepali fiction, short story, and prose writing. These countries do have poetry, and very less number of drama, and they have more fiction. So, in her work, Seasons of Light and Forget Kathmandu, she speaks about the democratic movement that is happening, and it is a kind of memoir. Forget Kathmandu is a kind of a memoir that she has written while traveling through the interiors of Nepal, especially from the refugee camps of the migratory people. How Nepal is facing troubles because of migration and because of this refugee camps. People send lot of people. They send telling that they are Nepalis. From Bhutan they send to Nepal. From Nepal they send to Bhutan. And many Gurkhas face trouble. We all know the Gurkhaland problem that is going on in our country. They are asking for a separate state. That is also the cause for all these problems that is happening in Nepal. So Manjushri Thapa is a well-analyzed author from Nepal, award-winning author from Nepal, who has very picturesquely showed the conditions of Nepal. We move on to Colors of Kathmandu by Sharda Shetty. It is a collection of short stories. Again, it seems we can put it under an umbrella. 4-5 things we can put it under an umbrella. Just that the country is different. Here and there, 20% of the problems they face is different. Few people they will face much problems regarding the cultural side. Few few countries like Burma, Bangladesh, Pakistan, they will have more problem with the political side, and few countries like Sri Lanka, they will have lingual problems as well as ethnic and political problems also. So if you take as a thematic study, the entire 30 novels can be brought under some 5-6 themes. But the variation, the language that they use, the backdrop that it is written will surely differ. So short stories carry more vigor in expressing the everyday life of people from Nepal. It speaks about the hopeful. Okay, fine. One day Nepal will become free. It speaks about the murder of the king and queen's family in Nepal. You have so many short stories in colors of Kanchenjunga, and it all speaks about various disciplines and various aspects of the common life of Nepal. And here we have an exceptional author, Kajwal Farajuli. He is again a very well written author in a very lucid language. He has written a novel and a short story collection called Urka's Daughter. The novel has a very globalized picture, in the sense it has taken all the troubles that Nepalis face. Nepal is not only in Nepal, Nepal is in India, especially in Darjeeling, crust between Bengal and Bhutan and Nepal. They don't have their identity of their own. Muslims who are facing trouble in the majority Hindu population of West Bengal, and then immigrants who move to America, Canada especially, and to Britain. How these immigrants are facing a problem. They are treated as seconds of human beings. And then, being it is a Hindi side, he also speaks about the problems of and how the hierarchy plays in the family, gender roles in the family, and then very funny or human spirit also he speaks. Gurka's Daughter is a collection of short stories which have 6 short stories in it. Extremely excellent collection of work. When you read it, you will find. See, even though when I speak, you may feel okay, fine. All these things are there in Indian literature also. What is there a big deal speaking about Nepali, Bhutani, Burma, Sri Lanka separately? No. Even though the themes look like similar to that of an Indian literature, the final human spirit that we get from these authors and through their own language in the backdrop of their culture, when we read it only we can understand how unique these literatures are. Maybe when I speak, you may feel that it is more or less same like Indian literature. Definitely not. When we go and read these works, we will find out a distinct feature of each and every country from these works. So now we will move on to Tibet. Tibet is a very small country, always in heads and noise with China, and with the help of India, it is somehow managing. Tibet, fiction is very less. Prose and poems are it is there in large numbers, and particularly folk tales are there in large numbers. Especially many literatures are being done in Tibetan folk tales and poems. So it has nationality that of Tibet, like nationality with Chinese and ethnicity with Tibetan. People are struggling for that. Okay, we have from Tibet we have Lopang Rampa and Spring Bangmo Jompa, who writes about the love for their land. So far, we have been seeing the troubles, the identity crisis that common people face. But the root of all these troubles and the crisis that face is basically the love that each and every citizen has towards their country, towards their land. But the novel doesn't speak explicitly about the love, but the undercurrent is love. That is why the problem, the necessity to identify their culture and preserve their culture emerges. but how far a common citizen loves their country. That is spoken in A Home in Tibet by Dompa. It is about a story of a mother and daughter, the love of a mother and daughter. Unfortunately, they also immigrate to America due to various political circumstances that is prevailing in Tibet. But the daughter always yearns to come back to Tibet. It is not like Indian diaspora who speak, who in only in whose nostalgia India is there and they are very happily settled. The third generation, fourth generation Indian children are very happily settled in America and they have generation conflict over there. No, this novel is not like that. It is about even after three generations, the protagonist wants to come back to Tibet and she wanted to live in her own home, in her own motherland, the free land of Tibet. So one fine morning, this protagonist, the daughter, she just sees back what her mother has given to her, and the novel is finding out what the mother has left to her. What the mother has left is the love for the motherland. So the third eye is another novel by Lomsang Rampa. It is a spiritual guide. It is an enlightenment, kind of a Buddhist enlightenment. It is also an autobiographical novel, opening towards the spiritual realms of Tibet. Tibet, we know it is all monasteries and things like that, very religious country. And this novel tells about how spiritually enlightened Tibet is. It tells about how powerful spirituality can change the country into. Then we will move on to a more known place, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Like Bhutan or Tibet, it is not an untrodden area in literature. Very much it is a known area in literature. Samila, Kamshi, we have the Skytrunner, Thousand Splendid Suns. So many things we have. We all read all these things. So I need not introduce anything about Pakistan and Afghanistan. But I just wanted to tell you one thing. The problem that Myanmar or Bhutan face is very much different from the problem Pakistan and Afghanistan face. It is more related to religion. There it is more related to ethnicity. Here it is more related to religion. So Kamila Kamshi is a very keen observer of what Pakistan is transforming to. So she lives at Karachi and she is a living author. She has not emigrated anywhere. She is not in exile anywhere. She is very much born and brought up in Pakistan. And her novel, Cartography and Burnt Shadows, speaks about the friendship between two protagonists and how the complicated ties separate their loyalties. It speaks about the faith and trust that a relationship has. So that is Kamila Kamshi's novel. And the third we move on to Nadia Hashmi and Nimi Tassar. This carpet weaver that you see in PowerPoint presentation is a collection of short stories. It is an award-winning collection of short stories where they plant hope and they wait for it to flourish. Okay? It is about the horror. This one, The House Without Windows, is about the horrors of Kabul and also the camps that are there in Pakistan. So this two novels and the earlier two novels, they are from Pakistan. Next we are going to see about the novels from Afghanistan. So only war or ethnic cleansing and religious things that is happening. These novels also speak about love or romance in war. You have Nadeem Akmal's Map for Lost Lovers, which is also a very famous novel from Pakistan, which speaks about how two lovers suffer due to this war at the backdrop. So it all hints upon war at the backdrop, like a chaos theory. It all hints on there is one thing that is happening, social conditions and individual conditions. Social conditions and political conditions are not something very much different. So it is all interrelated in today's world. It is all very much interrelated, and individuals cannot live away from the socio political, economic concepts of his or her own country. Everything will reflect on their personal life. That is what every novel is coming to portray. And the vulgarities of the war, the bloodshed of the war, the meanness of the war, and without even knowing why they are fighting for, they are fighting to sustain for. These novels and the collection of short stories speaks about all these things. And one more thing these novels speaks about is with the eyes of a coming of generation. That is why most of the novels are coming of the age story. Because it traces upon 2-3 generations of a family, 2-3 generations of a community in a particular place. They are traveling, how the political scenario, social scenario is affecting the common people, how the ideologies of common people in turn is affecting the socio-political conditions. All these things also it speaks of. So this is from Afghanistan. We know very famous Khalid Hosseini. I need not introduce anything about Khalid Hosseini, but I just wanted to put this piece there. It is a very, very short fiction, like Thousand Splendid, like Thousand Splendid Things and White Splendid is a very lengthy story which spoke about the things, the common things that is there in Afghanistan. This piece is a very short fiction, very lucid in the language, and it has that much of an impact like Thousand Splendid Things. And you have Muhammad Hanif's The Case of Exploding Mangoes, which speaks about the Syrian issue, and which speaks about a boy who longs to go to his grandfather's house and live there, spend his vacation there with so much of a peace, without any kind of a disturbances from this war. So the remembrance, the nostalgia that is there is spoken in Muhammad Hanif's The Case of Exploding Mangoes. So this is, we have Pakistan and Afghanistan, and this is on the lighter side. Duty Free by Moni Motion is on the lighter side. It is a kind of a pulp fiction, I can say. She has written 4 novels, which can be seen as how a free individual, even though we should not take an account that every single individual from Pakistan and Afghanistan is very much serious about war, nationality and identity and things like that. No, there are also people who take life as it. They go with the current. Okay, this novel is one such kind of a novel. Particularly for this reason only I have put this novel. She has written 4 more novels, which are very, very cool to read. On the lighter side, you need not to think too much about war. You can see romance, you can see love, you can see waywardness in the characterization of the protagonist. These protagonists of these 4 novels of Moni Motion is not very serious. They just go with the flow of the country and they try to live their life at the fullest. Whatever war is happening, they wanted to be living their life at full. Then we come to Sri Lanka. I just left Maldives because from Maldives I couldn't get much of a fiction. Maldives was poetry, but I couldn't get much of a fiction because the topic is on fiction. I just left Maldives. So we pass on to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, Tamilians we all will know, and many people in North will also know about the problems that is happening with Sri Lankan and Tamil ethnicity. It is an ethnic problem, more than a national problem. It is an ethnic problem. Tamil Elam. The Tamil people in Ceylon, Sri Lanka are asking for a land of their own, the rights of their own. They tell they are the settlers, they are the early people of Sri Lanka, and they need their rights back from the people of Ceylon, who they consider as settlers. So that is the problem that is happening there, and it is a very well-known problem. And many people from Sri Lanka face, they face problem. It is a very, very contemporary issue. Even in Bhutan or Myanmar, the things have come to normal. At least we can say it like that. But in Sri Lanka, things haven't come to normal. Still now they are fighting for their problems. And with that country, we have very eminent authors. You will know. We would have studied in the syllabus itself. Shyam Selvadurai, Michael Ondaje, and Nikhil G. Shiva, and people like that. So the Hungry Ghost tell the story of a man's restless search for redemption. We know Shyam Saladure has written Funny Boy. It is about the gay relationships and transgender story. And during, at the backdrop of Sri Lanka Civil War in 1980s, and how they went to Canada and settled there. So many people, especially from Sri Lanka, many Sri Lankans, due to this liberation war, they go and settle in Canada. And one more country they go and settle in Canada is Myanmar. From Myanmar also they go and settle in Canada. So one thing I came to know is Canada is a land of refugees. From reading these novels, I came to know many people. Somewhere there is a war. They want to immigrate. We cannot call even it as an escape. When we read these novels, we can understand. We may think why these people are escaping and going. No, actually it is not an escape. You cannot tell like that. But it is survival. They don't have a choice. It is not a willing immigration that they have gone, but a forced migration that they are forced to do. So this book is about one such kind of a young man search of redemption from where he wants to get reading from his nostalgic memories. He also thinks whether he has done something wrong, and that is why he has gone to Canada, and he wanted to come from those thoughts. So that is the Hungry Ghost. And you have Elephant Cast. It is about the attack by the Summer Elam tigers on this place. That is a place called Elephant Cast. The road from Elephant Cast speaks about military officers' experiences when the Summer Elam launched an attack on this place. It is a quite interesting novel. And then we have Ramesh Gunasekaran. He has also written more than 5 novels. The Suncaker is one of the important novels of Ramesh Gunasekaran. He has also written Bees, yet another important novel. And this Monkfish Moon is a collection of short stories that speaks about a panoramic view of problems that Sri Lanka faces. And the Suncaker is about, again, a coming of age story about difficulties in friendship and how a rebel is born. So we only know the rebels, they are fighting for something. But how they are produced, we will not know. So this novel tells about the birth of a rebel due to various socio-political circumstances. And this Monkfish Moon, it touches upon almost all the problems that Sri Lanka has during the civil war. I think I'm running out of time. I will conclude in 2-3 slides. So we come to the northeast of India. I didn't include India, as I have told you before. We all are very much aware. We have overly read the Indian works. So this northeast of India is quite an emerging area where all the 7 states can be considered as a separate countries. And that is also what they are fighting for. And each and every state's work is unique from others. Assam's literature is very much different from Nagaland's literature. That is very much different from Arunachal Pradesh literature. And that is again very much different from Manipur's literature. When you read it, we will be very well able to understand the tribal richness, the tribal culture, rich tribal culture and religion they follow. Many of the authors from Northeast India, they had only oral language. They never had a written script. So it is easy for them after colonialism, they have taken up English as their own language and they have started writing. So there is no dress for this from Northeastern India. So they also share a very pan-Asian tempo. So I have given you a very representative authors. You have so many authors, but I have given you representative authors in this slide, like Arupa Patangia, Kalita. They have also been awarded Sahitya Academy Award. Each and every state author is being awarded Sahitya Academy Award because they are very less in number and they write so well. They bring in their culture so eminently. There is no way we have to give Sahitya Academy to them. So Arupa Patandiya Kalita is an emerging author from Assam who has written in tears a collection of short stories. We have Mamang Dal, a very elderly author from Arunachal Pradesh, and also Sensula Ao and Nestering Kire from Nagaland. Yet another eminent authors who portray the real condition of Nagaland through their novels and short stories, and also poetry. And they give so much effort to preserve their folk oral tradition. They collect all their oral traditions and they script it. Of course, in English, they script it and they wanted to preserve all the things they wanted to tell. I have heard few interviews of all these authors from Northeastern India and from Bhutan and from Tibet especially. What they are concentrating on is to be vocal about their identity to others. Because unless otherwise we read all these things, we will not be able to know the uniqueness that these people possess. We cannot simply shrug away, okay, fine, it is a common culture that we all follow. No, we cannot shrug away like that. Every culture is very, very unique. Every literature brings out that uniqueness in a very, very effective way. That is what we have to tell. So, as I have already told, this is the connecting thread. War, diaspora, after colonialism, challenging tradition, unable to accept modernism, or unable to accept tradition and going for modernism, ethnic identity, language problems, globalization, all these things you can find in all the novels. Plus, in addition, we will also find finer human relationships, loyalty, trust, pride, friendship, and these things are also spoken very, very effectively at the backdrop of all these things in the novels that we have chosen. So, as I have already told you, if you want to tell about these, we can put it in the only four broader criteria: expatriate, war, religion, women, and minor criteria are always there. So now we can find out what seriously we can do with these novels. We can do a comparative study and we can find a commonality and difference. And then we can apply theories like conflict peace studies, new historicism, chaos theory, and all the emerging culture studies, especially we can apply to all the novels that we have seen and the books we have seen so far, and written by the same author, other books written by the same author. And one more thing I would like to record here is all the novels that we have spoken here is written after 2000, mainly in the awakening century of 21st century. We have taken these novels. Nothing is an old novel. Everything is a very contemporary novel. If it is old, it might have been published at the latest by 1998 or 1999, not before that. So in that case, it gives a very truthful idea of what the country is suffering, what the country and its citizens are undergoing. So in that case, I think there is a huge scope for research. From the PG level to the research level, we have so much of scope for research. If not at the research level, few novels. Only if we take at a pan foundation context, we can do it as a, doctoral research. Even at the PG level, because why am I saying there is no much secondary sources available for any of these novels, but the textbooks are very much available and affordable also. So PG students who are listening to it can take these novels instead of redundantly working upon known authors of the world. We can take up these novels and we can very well put ourselves in their shoes and we can read, because they are all neighbors. We can easily go inside their mindset and we can understand easily. So at least at PG level, of course, we can very well take at a PhD research level also we can take for a comparative study and an extensive study. But at the PG level also we can do research with these novels. So how we have to approach this area? We need not just focus on war. There is another side of war. We can probe into the roots of the cause of war, and we can tell how it is different from other literatures like Black, African, Afro-American literature, how it is different from Canadian literature, how it is different from British or European literature. So we can do a comparative study and we can tell how it is different and how it is similar. So these are all the profits of reading a South Asian fiction. And you can also take diasporic writing from all these things, and you can say how the experiences of Bhutanese diaspora is different from Sri Lankan diaspora. We can also say the experiences of an Afghanistan diaspora is different from that of a Sri Lankan diaspora. Like that also, there are n number of ways to approach this text. So I hope this area is a very prominent field for doing research and learning, and as well as most importantly, experiencing what our neighbors are facing. So that is very much important. That is what I learned from reading few novels. I have to tell you the truth, I haven't read all the novels that I have given to you, but from the 6-7 novels that I have read, I could find out how different is these novels, how different is their writing, style of writing, choice of vocabulary, how different I can very much able to sense it. So when we read it, we will be able to sense the real colors of the problems that these people face. So from where I have got all these things is from, I should definitely thank Amazon, Wikipedia, and many blogs the authors have, and newspaper clippings and interviews. Especially from Amazon, I took all the pictures, so I should tell my thanks to Amazon and other things as well. Thank you so much for bearing with all the technical issues, waiting patiently and listening to my introductory lecture. If I have went wrong somewhere, I sincerely ask for your apologies, and maybe in the next time we can sort out all these problems and come with more vigor. Now, if you have any questions, we can have the questions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ronald.
So once again, we thank Kavya, ma'am. Of course, we apologize for all the technical issues that we had, and many of you said it was echoing and it was not clear. And we sincerely apologize. From next time, we'll correct all those issues. Thank you for bearing with us. And we have posted the feedback forms. Please reply to that as well.
If we have any
Ma'am,
queries, shall we move with that or what can we?
ma'am, we'll close, ma'am. Actually, it's time, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
participants.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the time.